translated French hymn was originally written by Placide Cappeau and set to music by Adolphe Adam in 1847. This hymn reflects upon Luke's account of the birth narrative as humanity's redemption. But the carol didn't start out as a carol at all. It actually started out as a simple poem requested by Cappeau's local parish priest to be read at the Christmas Eve Mass in 1847. It became a song later that year when Adam set it to music. Initially, the song was wholeheartedly accepted and celebrated by the church. But when Cappeau later became a member of the socialist movement in France, and Adam was found out to be a practicing Jew, the church denounced the song and claimed it had a total absence of spiritual religion. The church banned the song, but by that point, the common people had adopted it. They sang it in the streets, at work, and in their homes. And even though the church tried to bury the hymn, it would make its way all the way across the world in less than a decade, later being translated to English in 1855. John Sullivan Dwight, minister and academic, translated the poem after beginning a journal of music. But the journal of music was not really where his vocation started. He was training to be a minister when his anxiety disorder, undiagnosed at the time, made it utterly impossible for him to stand up in front of a congregation and lead. But it was a blessing in disguise. As he received the poem in a submission to the journal, he was so moved by not only the story of Christ's birth, but something even more concrete for his own context at that time. He was an abolitionist in the North, and the song resonated with him when he read the lines I'm going to read you right now. Truly, he taught us to love one another. His law is love, and his gospel is peace. Chains shall he break, for the slave is our brother, and in his name all oppression shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy in grateful chorus raising, let all within us praise his holy name. Christ is Lord. After translating and publishing the poem in the journal, it became widely adopted by the North during the Civil War. But it wasn't only celebrated in America. Back in France, while the church was still trying to squash the hymn, legend has it that the song brought a little bit of peace on a battlefront in 1871. Amidst the Franco-Prussian War, there was a man who took matters into his own hands on Christmas Eve. As the story goes, he stood up in the middle of fighting with no weapon and began singing the hymn. After singing 3 verses, both sides joined him, and there was a 24-hour temporary ceasefire on both sides. Peace on the battlefront to celebrate the birth of the King of Peace, even if only temporary. Fast forward to 1906, and O Holy Night made history when Reginald Fessenden, a 33-year-old professor and former chemist for Thomas Edison, became the first voice to be aired on the radio. Much to everyone's surprise, Reginald read Luke's birth narrative over the air. Never before had a voice been broadcast, but in this monumental moment, Reginald read the narrative, and then at the end of the story, he picked up his violin and played O Holy Night across the air. At that moment, it became the very first ever song to be played on the radio. And from that first rendition in 1847 in a small French church to the very first broadcast song in 1906, O Holy Night became the entertainment industry's most recorded and played spiritual song. A song of liberation, a song of community, a song with a long history of persistence and resistance. Despite the attempts of those in power to squash the song with political power, the message carried on. One of hope, joy, peace, and love, just like this season of Advent. Please join me as we listen to the song together now.